on a roll.
Well, we're using their main stage, it's just on Washington, right? It came back into the office. I don't know what this is. You would have to do this.
Mics are hot.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Look, that's what I'm saying.
529.
529.
He's one of the public speakers. All chopping down, 50, 60, 70.
It's
No Donald in there? I'll take that. No rocks?
The March 3rd, 2026 meeting of the City Council is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Redpath, can you please call the roll?
Alderman Cox.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Rockford. Alderwoman Purchase.
here.
Alderwoman Natrano.
Here.
Alderman Carlson.
Here.
Alderwoman Conley.
Present.
Alderman Donlin. Alderman Hanauer.
Here.
Mayor Busher.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Can I get a motion to allow Alderman Donlin?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to allow Alderman Donlin join us via phone. Welcome, Alderman Donlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed?
Nay. I'm just
You
playing.
got one nay, Alderman.
I'm just playing.
The civility pledge. In the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. This evening, there are no proclamations or presentations. The chair will now entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the February 17th, 2026 regular city council meeting and approve the minutes.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council first reading of ordinances into the record of this council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Alderman Gregory.
Yes.
It's on the agenda. We're getting there.
Never mind.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Sorry, no.
Okay. So all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will now entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on first reading agenda item number 2026-116, an ordinance authorizing subrecipient grant agreement number 23-203186 with Solid Ground Solutions Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $50,000 for the Hoops and Hope Basketball League program funded through the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity for the Springfield Police Department.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Alderman Gregory and a second from Alderwoman Conley, correct? Okay. Any discussion about the item being added to first reading? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council reading of the consent agenda into the record of this council meeting.
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will entertain a motion to place the consent agenda on final passage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, your voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those that oppose will vote no.
Alderman Donlin, how you vote?
The motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. Agenda item number 2026-078 remains tabled or in committee. The next item on the agenda is item number 2026-064, an ordinance authorizing execution of an annexation agreement between the City of Springfield, Illinois, and Barry S. Kelly and Marcia L. Kelly for the properties located at 3245 and 3313 Old MacArthur Boulevard for the Office of Public Works. The chair will entertain a motion to recess the regular meeting to hold a public hearing for consideration of this annexation agreement.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the public hearing? Seeing none, all those in favor of holding the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The public hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to come and address the council for the annexation agreement at 3245 and 3313 Old MacArthur Boulevard? Anyone in the crowd?
Motion to adjourn public meeting and then
Second.
return to the council meeting.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the public meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We have now adjourned the public meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda item number 2026-064 on final passage.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
Alderman Donlin, how do you vote?
The motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is 2026-065, an ordinance annexing certain described real property located at 3245 and 3313 Old MacArthur Boulevard for the Office of Public Works. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda item number 2026-065 on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
Alderman Donlin, how do you vote?
Vote aye, Mr. Clerk.
So the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. Is there any unfinished business to come before the council from the council members this evening? Alderwoman Notriano.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question about a question/comment that I made during the police department's budget hearing.
About the
It's-
budget, okay, that passed? Mhm.
Yeah, so it is regarding something that is now on first reading this meeting, ordinance 2026-115. Is anyone here who can speak to that?
Is the question about the budget or the ordinance?
It's about the budget discussion/ordinance, yeah.
The budget would be old business, the ordinance is new business, so,
Okay, well, we can keep it to the budget then.
okay. Let's see. Looks like Deputy Chief Maddox is here. Do you want to come up? Oh, I just gave you your promotion, Commander Maddox. Everybody clap. No, I'm kidding. Commander Maddox is up here.
Hi, so I don't know if you were here, I don't believe we've met. I don't know if you were here for the budget presentation. Sorry to have to ask you this.
That's all right.
But the chief had mentioned, when I asked about the line item to purchase a armored vehicle, had mentioned that he would look into other options for me. And so I was surprised whenever I had never heard back from him, yet saw the purchase coming forward. So do you have any information on that?
I do. I was actually pretty involved in the process of researching armored vehicles for purchase. I know there was some information that you had exchanged with Chief Beal about other options. We looked into several options previous to that conversation, as well as the options that you had proposed. I do have some literature on that if you're interested in hearing it, but there's a whole variety of reasons why the Linco Bearcat, which we were going with, makes sense for our purposes. So.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. So one of the ones that was suggested was the TAG Bat S, which is a armored truck essentially, right? So there's several pitfalls with that we identified that would not fit our immediate needs for the emergency response team or for critical incident response. One of the big ones is, from our research, we found that vehicle is a level 3 NIJ vehicle, which means it'll stop a lot of handgun rounds, a lot of rifle rounds, but it won't stop certain types of rifle rounds. For example, 50 caliber rounds, it will not stop. And then armor piercing rounds, which we've recovered a lot over the years from the streets, it will not stop those as well. So those rounds could essentially enter the cab of the vehicle and therefore put the people in the armored truck in danger. As well, the other options, including the Bat S, does not have armor in the hood, the front fenders area. So it's essentially an F-550 truck that they took and up-armored the back side of the truck. So the cab area is armored to NIJ level 3, but the front area, the hood, the fenders, the mechanicals is not up armored. So essentially, rifle rounds could go through that and disable the vehicle, which would prevent the vehicle from continuing on with the mission should there be some kind of mechanical failure because of the lack of ballistic protection.
And so, did you reach out to them to see if there were modifications available?
Yeah, so everything I found, there were some modifications for certain things, but the base of that truck is essentially the front end of an F-550. There's other modifications for the backside of the truck, but I did not find anything that would allow that to change the front of the truck. So
Isn't the
Canvas.
the Bearcat also F-550?
it is. It is. The difference is a Bearcat is built from the ground up to be an armored vehicle, whereas, for example, other options like the Tag Badass is built as an F-550 that's up armored and basically changed into an armored vehicle. So it's not purpose-built for an armored vehicle. It's a modified truck to make it somewhat armored, essentially.
Well, they're
So,
both modified trucks.
well, I mean, the Bearcat is built to be an armored vehicle. The F-550 is modified to turn it into an up armored vehicle. There's a different process that they go through for that. So there's other things that, we looked at. That's not just one of them. There's all kinds of other criteria we were looking for. One of those things is the Bearcat that we currently have has run flat tires. So if a tire gets shot out, if we run over something and it pops a tire, the Bearcat can continue on because it has run flat tires for up to 50 miles and continue whatever the operation is. However, the other options out there include just regular vehicle tires or truck tires. So if those get shot out or otherwise flattened, that vehicle is down. Those vehicles are super heavy. They're going to be embedded wherever they're at, more than likely. So, so the Badass other vehicles, they will operate differently than a Bearcat. So we've had a Bearcat for approximately 20 years. It's aging drastically, and it's time for something to protect our people. The Badass drives differently, has different equipment, different operation. There's schools out there how to drive Bearcats, how to properly operate them, all those things which all of our people on the emergency response team are trained to and know how to drive. So it would be a seamless transition to transition to a new Bearcat from the old Bearcat versus having a completely new system to try and learn and have different operations and equipment inside the vehicle. Another big component is Springfield Police and the Emergency Response Team is a part of a statewide team, which is the ILEA Special Response Team. That's how we have our current Bearcat. It was given to us by the state of Illinois through ILEAS. All the ILEAS agencies that we work with for mutual aid all have the same Linco Bearcat, either the old one like ours or new ones. So as we respond for mutual aid reasons, there's interoperability between the different agencies. They know how to use the Bearcat, they know how to use the equipment inside of a Bearcat, whereas a Badass or other types of armored vehicles would not be the same. They'd drive different, they'd operate different, they have different equipment inside of them. So we would lose a little bit of interoperability between the teams that we work with through that state agency. So that was another big item as we sorted through all of this. As far as reliability, Linco's been around for decades. We have our own Bearcat. We've had for 20 years. Our team has brought that to many operations, whether it's armed barricaded persons or hostage situations or high-risk warrants. We know what it does. We know how it operates. We trust it. I believe Chief Bill mentioned recently, or during budget, that it's been shot numerous times, which is true. I've been there for those situations. We had people inside the Bearcat while it was being shot, and we trust it to protect our people. Whereas with other armored vehicles, they're unseen. So haven't been around as long. They haven't been tested by us. There's not quite the same presence in the market for law enforcement with other armored vehicles. So let's see. There's all kinds of minor options, like the Bearcat we are looking at offers a 180-degree turret. So essentially on top of the vehicle, it allows for 180 degrees to allow someone to be up there to deploy less lethal munitions or whatever it may be from the top of the turret, whereas these other companies only offer a small window to protect the person that is in that turret. So definitely a lot more protection as far as ballistic protection, more equipment that protects the officers. I think most notably, the Bearcat is 100% used as a de-escalation tool. So it's meant to protect the lives of the people who are in the Bearcat, It's also meant to protect citizens, right? So if we're behind armor and we're not out there in the open, we're safe, but we're also keeping other people safe as well, because we're less likely to have to use force on someone else because we know we're protected inside of a vehicle that has an NIJ 4 rating. We're not going to take bullets from inside the Bearcat. It's less likely for us to use force on someone else if we know we have protection from a Bearcat.
So why then would you need the turret?
So there's all, I mean, without getting heavy into tactics, there's all kinds of reasons for that. One of those things may be deployment of like chemical munitions or deployment of other resources to try and end the situation and de-escalate it appropriately. So
You think using chemical weapons would de-escalate a situation?
100%.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I really appreciate all this information. You have indeed sort of made my point for me. So what other vehicle did you research?
So
Other
we
than
looked
the
at,
Badass?
yeah, so we looked at Badass, we looked at Senko has a armored vehicle as well. We looked at up-armored like Suburbans. As far as price and functionality, they don't offer the same type of benefits that Bearcat offers. As far as carrying enough personnel, the same options the Bearcat has. As far as pricing, they're very similar in price. There's not a massive market out there for armored vehicles that meet the needs of emergency response team. So we looked at other options. I'd say nationwide, like we talked about Elias, you know, all these agencies within the state all have Bearcats. The state police have Bearcats, the FBI has Bearcats. Like that's the go-to standard as far as armored vehicles in the realm of law enforcement, emergency response teams.
Okay. And so with all this research being done, I assume that it was relatively soon after my email to the chief on January 23rd, which I believe was like a day after the presentation, maybe that same day. Do you have any ideas why I never heard back from him or the mayor? Mayor, you can speak to that as well.
I don't want to speak on behalf
I
of the-
sent an email to everybody telling how much you asked for how much the POTUS's car was. It's over 14 million. I sent an email. You all got it. I sent it to Tim Griffin.
Yeah, and I replied to that, and then I also sent my email, I forwarded my email that I had sent to Chief Beal to you.
I don't recall getting that. I can look for it, but I sent an email out for the questions you had at budget. I can
Okay.
resend that as well. I'll send both.
No, you don't have to, because I definitely got your response about the president's armored car, and I also responded that that was merely for illustrative purposes, and I wasn't seriously considering that our SWAT team should drive a armored Cadillac, but nevertheless. So the the options that you are specifying for this vehicle are exactly the reasons why I requested the chief look for other options. I'm sure you're aware that right now in this country, there is a lot of, I would say, mistrust, maybe even antagonism between police forces and certain segments of the public who have, traditionally been targeted and continue to be targeted by over-policing. So I was really hoping for some vision and the willingness of the police department to take a different tact, right? Instead of de-escalation in a way that I could only imagine benefits the police, I would hope that there could be truly instances of I don't know, not using chemical weapons against people, right? And not, potentially firing from an armored vehicle. Like, that's very, the reputation, the optics of that is really military forward, and I just can't understand why, in this day and age, after what happened in 2014, down in St. Louis, after what happened in Minneapolis in 2020. A lot of police departments around the country are demilitarizing. So what is it about our department that makes us think we need to go in a different direction?
So I'll say, you're talking about, chemical munitions, and just to clarify, I mean, that could be, pepper spray, right? And I'm glad you brought that up. So like, the Bearcat is not, driving around making traffic stops, right? It's not going to run-of-the-mill, lower level warrants, lower level threats, right? So our team is very well trained. They train across the country. They are 100% a well-trained and well-equipped SWAT team. As far as the use of the Bearcat, so we have a matrix that we have to meet in order to even use emergency.
Is that publicly? I would like to see that. Is that available?
Yeah, so it's an internal document. I'm sure that the chief will want to share it with you.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it.
So,
Thank you.
in order to use a emergency response team or a SWAT team, or in order to essentially bring a Bearcat out in those type of environments, it has to meet a certain threshold, right? So it's not run-of-the-mill stuff. It's high level, high threat, weapons offenses, threats to police, threats to others, armed barricaded persons, homicidal, suicidal type subjects, or people that are held hostage. So it's not out every day. It's out there for the highest threat levels, and the intent there is not to be militaristic. The intent there is to protect the officers who are going to do these dangerous things, who go out there and do these things, as well as protect the citizens who were called to serve.
Absolutely, and I respect that, but you understand that your intent kind of takes a back seat when all people have are optics. Do you have any information about where we typically use the Bearcat?
Where?
Yeah, like what part of town?
I've been on the team for 14 years. I just retired this January. I can say that it's been all over the city. It's wherever investigations lead us to be, wherever these critical incidents are, that's where.
Do you have an idea, like the last 3 times it was deployed, where was it?
I don't know offhand.
Okay. I'd be interested to hear that as well for the discussion next week. I think, seeing that matrix is going to be great. And I really appreciate your willingness to talk to me. I appreciate you coming here tonight. That's big, It's discussions like these that are going to help us work toward a situation where both sides can feel comfortable. I really wish the chief was here so I could ask him my questions about the Massey Commission and how this fits in with the Massey Commission goals. But like I said, we can talk about that later. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Williams, do you need
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Commander Maddox up here?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I wish the chief was here. I really do. But just, I'll reserve until next week if the chief is going to be here next week.
I believe he is. He was under the weather tonight.
Okay, and I appreciate your questions, Alderwoman. How often did you use the current vehicle?
It depends every year.
How many times in a year?
I mean, again, it varies. I would say average, maybe 15 to 20.
Okay, so my problem today with this is I've always been against militarized type vehicles in municipality police force because I believe that's why we have the National Guard. We just go on North Grand if you call them in if it's that serious. But in this case, I believe a few years ago, I have to get with my groups again, but I thought Faith Coalition, and we took this on before and was successful. And the city not purchasing another vehicle like this. Now, the current one is, what'd you say, 20?
20 years. Correct.
And if we didn't use it, if you didn't get it, what would that do to the department?
If we did not buy one?
Yeah, if you just, as is and save this money since we passed a foolish budget, but now we may have a chance here to just not do this even though it may be budgeted. I see the rush. I see it in very next week now. We're going to do each item that comes up that costs a significant amount of money, we're going to have some discussion and see if it's really needed, or is this just another toy that the department, once again, wants to try to get. Again, I think in those kind of situations, that's why we have a National Guard. And I think there's been some national implications that it's not good to, kind of turn our local police department, using military things. I mean, sometimes the pepper spray and all the other things. Let me ask you one question and I'll leave you alone. The current vehicle, does it have a turret?
It does.
It does. Have you ever used it?
Yes.
Okay. Was death after that, or
I'm sorry?
did it result in any death?
No.
It did
And
not.
honestly, I mean, that's Overwatch, right? So like if our team is pulling up to a high-risk type warrant, if they have to exit the vehicle for any reason and make an approach on the house, which is within the realm, right? That person who's in a turret is Overwatch to make sure those guys are safe as they are moving from the location of the vehicle to whatever location that they're going to. You had asked about what do we do if we don't buy this vehicle?
Yes.
I would say, with this thing, current Bearcat being 20 years old, there's been several recent occasions where we needed an armored vehicle for high-risk situations, and this vehicle did not start. The most recent one, it did not start, and it was parked in a garage where it blocked in our other vehicles and equipment. We couldn't even get it out of there. So we were, late to the game to get armor to this situation because the vehicle is aging and it did not start. So in short, I would say, to answer your question, if we do not buy this vehicle we currently have is going to continue to get worse and worse. We've talked to the city garage about what's the lifespan of this vehicle. They made mention that the chassis is starting to rust out and it's becoming a much bigger problem where it's not going to last forever. So I would say if we don't buy this vehicle, we're not going to have an armored vehicle and we're going to put our officers at risk.
Well,
and
the
the
situation,
citizens.
your example you're giving me got taken care of without one of these vehicles, correct?
No, we had to call the garage in after hours to come and do like emergency rehab on the vehicle to get it running for that night for us to go to use it. So they luckily came in pretty quickly and were able to help us out.
I'll wait for the chief for the rest. Thank you for stepping in for him. Thank you.
Absolutely.
One moment. Alderman Carlson, do you need?
Just quickly,
Commander Maddox?
Roy, when you asked that question, I do remember specifically the chief saying, you guys use that thing about 30 or 40 times a year.
Yeah.
And
so
we may
it's-
not always know as aldermen when this thing is used. And I think, I've seen it, I think it was also sent to me, there's like probably 35 or 40 bullet holes or indentions, not holes through it.
Correct.
I think the chief also said that night, yeah, it is 20 years old. When it's sitting idling, I think exhaust is coming through the floorboard and which is obviously not healthy for anybody in there. I mean, to me, we're not either escalating or de-escalating, we're just sort of staying neutral and essentially just simply replacing a vehicle that is used not only for public safety, but for your safety as well. I think the chief also reiterated that, hey, or said once in a while when it goes out, you may have to take a doctor in that vehicle depending on the situation.
Yeah, correct. As far as like the exhaust, like I'm glad you brought that up as my notes. I skipped over it. We had a state assessment late last year where we had a state of Illinois assessor who was basically grading the team for certification. So during that certification, this assessor had made note like, hey, this thing smells terrible inside. The exhaust fumes inside the truck and everything else. So, and it's just kind of the nature of the business of a 20-year-old vehicle that's had a lot of idle time and it's got a lot of weather and a lot of time on it. So that's definitely a concern of ours. As far as the amount of times a Bearcat's used, I mean, I could say years ago it might have been used 50 times in a year. It might be 30. It might be 15, 20. It just kind of depends on what's going on in that year and how busy the year is. But I would say anywhere from 15 to 50 is possible. It could be less or more, by dozens in each year, just depending on what happens, within the city during any given year. So.
And I think it seemed like you did your due diligence on looking at any other possibilities, but it just makes sense if, and you're, I'm going to defer to you and your expertise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as far as, with 14 years on the team, you know, I've seen agencies and departments and SWAT teams from across the country. We've been all over to train. You don't see anything else but, you know, these Bearcats. So, like, as far as reliability, maintenance, you know, coming back to get things fixed if need be, they're definitely the leader in that. I appreciate you bringing up the information about the doctors. We do have doctors who volunteer their time with us. They do it completely for free. They come out with us. If something happens to us or any civilian, they're there to treat them immediately, which is a huge relief for us. Now we have these doctors who are on our side to help either us or any citizen that may be injured. We have a duty to protect those doctors. They're not armed. They don't, you know, have no way to protect themselves except for us and an armored vehicle. So I would venture to bet if we didn't have a vehicle to keep them safe in, it probably wouldn't be as nearly advantageous for them to come out and.
Thank you for the info, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Notriano?
Thank you, Mayor. So we keep talking about how old the vehicle is, right? So we acquired it in probably 2006, would you say?
Correct.
Any idea about the history of that acquisition?
The history of it?
Like, how did we get it? Why did we need it? Where did we get it from?
Yeah, so there's federal funding that's funneled down to the state through ILEAS. ILEAS then uses that funding to go across the state to provide either mobile field force teams or SWAT teams with equipment to essentially create this mutual aid system that run across the entire state. So if there's a massive incident, then those resources are spread throughout the state. So because of that and Springfield's involvement in ILEAS is how we got the Bearcat around 2006.
Okay. And so you look pretty young, but I will also say, for those of us who were, you know, of age and knew what was going on at the time, we all remember that the reason our police departments started showing up with military vehicles is because the U.S. government had a lot of military vehicles from the wars, and they were looking to unload them. Right? And so no doubt that was part of the state of Illinois and the federal government's project. Do you have any idea what SPD or other police departments would have used before the War on Terror?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was working here in 2006. I was
kidding.
here, yeah, so
Sorry.
younger than I feel. So that Bearcat at the time was brand new, right? So that was purchased with the state funds that was a part of a grant. That was not a military surplus vehicle. It was handed down from any kind of war or any kind of surplus at that time. Previous to that, the Springfield Police Department used an old Brinks truck that was at the time aged out, and Brinks didn't want it anymore because they didn't trust it anymore. It was that old, right? So we have no idea at the time, the age of that vehicle, what it's been through, how long it's been in service. I believe back then they had to put a whole new motor in that just to get it up and running. So it was an armored vehicle, but as far as the functionality of that versus what we can do in de-escalation with the Bearcat is completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, the Brinks vehicle is sort of what I was searching for way back in my mind during that budget hearing that I couldn't quite put my finger on. But as I've done research on this, that's absolutely what police departments used to use, right? That's the stereotypical action movie SWAT vehicle is that Brinks looking truck. And I'd also like to say SWAT, and maybe you can tell me what agency originated SWAT and why were SWAT teams deemed necessary and spread across the country?
Yeah, I believe they started out in Los Angeles, and it was because of a critical incident that was out in Los Angeles, and that essentially was the birth of SWAT. I forget the year, but... Yeah, so it was at the beginning of the war on drugs, right? And that's something that we are, right now, trying to undo the effects of,
right?
Yeah, I did research. I believe it was relation to an active shooter that was in LA that was started.
Well, I mean, but it was thereafter used in the war on drugs. And that's certainly why the idea spread across the country. So I just, again, want to make people think, you know, 20 years, we've had it for a long time. It sounds like we've always had it and we can't ever have anything else. Not the case. There is history that comes along with this type of vehicle. Nobody in the city, nobody up here, certainly not myself, wants to put officers in harm's way. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if there are alternatives, if there are less expensive alternatives, because that's what I've found in my research, although I don't know if you add that armor to the front end of the bat, it might not be less than $500,000. But yeah, we're looking at $500,000 for this vehicle that may or may not improve the profile of the police department in the city. So I believe that's really it. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Hanauer.
When they first came out with this, I saw it in the budget. I wasn't really for it until I got to see the thing. And I think the thing that shocked me the most was the number of marks where the bullets have hit it. And I'm thinking, you know, at that point, I was feeling like I wouldn't want to put one of our police officers in a vehicle where it's taking fire like that in a situation and them not be safe. That kind of changed my mind on it. I don't like the cost. I will tell you that off, but sometimes the safety of our officers are more important than the money. If we put somebody in a less safe, or I don't know if it's less armored or whatever vehicle, and a bullet round goes through and kills them or a doctor or whatever, because we are trying to save some money, I don't know how the rest of you would feel. I'd feel terrible about it, absolutely terrible. So that's what's changed my mind. The fact that that thing has taken rounds, and some of them look like pretty big rounds, was kind of frightening to me. You know, I can't imagine being in there. I imagine that thing rings a little bit when those things hit. So I think that, you know, again, I don't like the cost, but I think at some point in time, you know, this is something that we need, and, you know, the functionality of it and everything. And so you've got my support on it, but again, if there's a way we can somehow get the cost down, I'd really like that too. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that.
And Alderman Hanauer, to your point, since I've been mayor, there was a report that I got in the middle of the night. Someone had barricaded themselves in a home with a weapon, and there was thought that there were civilians being held hostage in there. They took it out, and that individual started shooting at them immediately. So in that situation, do you want officers to go where there's civilians being held or not? That's the question you need to ask yourselves.
Yeah, and to this day, I mean, you can look at the Bearcat, like you mentioned, the bullet fragments. You can see the front of it has been, you know, riddled with bullets, you know, through numerous different call-outs, and, you know, the Bearcat has been shot, and especially the one the mayor referenced, and then again, just last year as well. So, and it's not just protection of us, that's huge, but there's all kinds of stuff that this Bearcat can do that keeps officers from having to walk up to a door and knock on a door or breach a door. It allows them to stay safely behind cover, to not make split-second decisions in, you know, the blink of an eye at a front door for, say, a hostage situation or whatever it may be. So it gives them time to think, it gives them time to de-escalate, and it protects them, protects the people they're called to serve.
Alderman Williams.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say, well, of course, if it shows up, and that's why it gets shot at. Because sometimes it ain't just de-escalating. Sometimes it's escalating because you come up with something that big, and it may scare the criminal or whatever. I'm not on the criminal side. I'm just trying to show you how sometimes just perception and the way things look, it escalates the whole area. You know, the police are here, oh, here's what, you know, whatever. And they got this, in their term, their tank is here. that type of thing. And I don't think Springfield needs that kind of stuff. I think we do just fine. So I will say you keep relying on de-escalation, and there's examples of escalation because of that vehicle.
Alderman, the past 2 times the Bearcat has been shot, shots were fired by the suspect before the Bearcat was even on scene. So again, they're called to situations that are high
Well, I
risk,
mean,
they're known
yeah,
high risk.
I
And
can
in
give
both
you that.
situations, we had an officer who was out on foot behind a house who was shot at before Bearcat was even pulled out of the garage, before he even thought to even, it wasn't even a call for service we would bring a Bearcat to. The officer was shot at while standing in an alleyway.
Well,
So,
we're going to agree that with the Bearcat, shots are going to be fired, with or without. That's just part of law enforcement versus peace officer. It depends on what it is. But some cases, there's going to be shots fired. But a Bearcat's not going to stop shots from being fired and de-escalate, like you're saying. Sometimes it's going to escalate the situation. And I'll leave it at that, Mayor. Thank
I'd
you.
say, Alderman, in 14 years, I've seen it bring peaceful resolutions to situations that were already very high.
Well, let's not be shocked that we see bullet holes on a vehicle like that.
Thank you, Commander. I appreciate it. Is there any other unfinished business to come before the council? Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commander. I didn't want to edge over into that conversation. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about at Committee of the Whole next week on that, since that's first reading. I just did want to, I hope that I'm not too early to say this. We got an email, I appreciate it, from Chief of Staff Fleischle in response to my request I'd had for presentation, an informational presentation on the 708 board. I do understand the need to keep that separate from council chambers and from our council meetings, because it is a ballot initiative. But if you don't mind, I'd like to share the meeting information. So it's an important session. We're going to have Dr. Kelly Hurst, and she has been presenting on this throughout the city. There's been plenty of opportunities to get information on this, but what the 708 board is, what that referendum issue entails. So I did ask that we have one in conjunction, at least related to, hosted by the city. I think it's important that we at the city engage in this process too. We talk about issues that need de-escalation. Certainly mental health issues are at the top of the list that needs to be addressed there. So this will be scheduled, it will be held Tuesday, March 10th, before our council meeting at 4:15 in the Lincoln Library. Again, strongly encourage people to attend this, strongly encourage the media to attend, and ensure that we continue to cover this issue so that people understand exactly what the unmet need is in our county and what this issue will be addressing. And I'm making sure, again, I'm not advocating one way or the other. I'm just saying, in terms of education, it's a really important issue to be educated on and be aware of this year. So thank you very much for making that opportunity available. And
Just took some organizing of schedules, so.
yes, no, and I really appreciate that. I've heard Dr. Hurst speak a number of times on a number of different issues, and she certainly has the ability to take complex issues and deliver them in a very clear, concise manner. So I'm looking forward to that meeting. I had another update on I was going to talk about the eating contest that Scott Dahl organized.
That would be new business. We're still
I'll
on
put that
old
under new business, sure. We'll let Alderman Gregory
All right,
finish up.
Alderman Gregory, old business?
Yes, this is for sure old business. This is, the 5th will be the follow-up, for the Office of Planning and Economic Development open house. Not only the cannabis grants, but also the neighborhood improvement program. Today, they had a fabulous turnout, when I rode by, and we just want to let everyone know, Thursday, March 5th, 4:30 to 7:30, same location, Firehouse number 6, community room. There will be a follow-up session for anybody who wants to return items or come in and learn about those programs. It's working out, little by little, as we get out in the community. So I appreciate them for that. Thank you.
Any other old business from the council?
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Williams.
I just want to give a thank you to the fire chief. Their community room that he just discussed, it's been a big service and help to the community. I was in a meeting there last night, and the staff, everybody was wonderful. And the room has that furniture was wonderful. I can remember the days when Hannah wanted to cut it out the budget and all that stuff. But it is really serving a good purpose, and I appreciate y'all for it.
So I'm going to add to your shout out. I know you gave a shout out to Chief Zumo, but we also have to give a shout out to Director Posey, who was here. He may have left. I don't know. I think he had a.
Yeah, he was there.
Oh, he's got an event there tonight, so he went to the community room. But his office runs the room, so we want to thank him as well.
By a lot of aspects of the community, so
Yes,
I'm so
so we
glad
wanna
it
give him a thank
survived
you.
and got built. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other old business? Any new business? Alderwoman Conley, do you want me to bring Director Dahl up?
Sure, Director, you want to come on up for this?
Director Dahl, would you like to come up?
I just need to mention this. We passed something, we passed funding to support the eating contest in conjunction with Route 66. And I think it's really important that, and I'm going to channel my inner Kristen DeSenso. It's a very small, but I know she would want this highlighted. This eating contest is going to be corn dogs.
It's the International Cozy Dog
Cozy Dog.
Eating
Cozy
Competition
dogs.
with professionals.
Right.
So there'll be 5 or 6 professionals.
I'm not
Major
gonna
League
even
Eating
touch
is
that.
behind this. Yeah, I know. But, this will likely be a one-time event during the Mother Road Festival on September 26th. I believe the times are 11 to 1. And yeah, we're bringing in professionals. We'll have a guest appearance. We haven't quite firmed that up yet, but we'll have somebody that will MC that. And yeah, this is to celebrate the Route 66 100th anniversary as part of the Mother Road Festival. And we'll see how many cozy dogs the professionals can eat.
I know my limit is about 1, but I'm intrigued. If I can just ask if we could include a donut chaser.
Wow,
Mellow
okay.
cream would be my choice, but, right, the donut and corn dog?
Absolutely, mellow cream all the way. Yeah, we'll ask them, but I think they're really focused on the cozy dogs right now, and I think
I understand.
we're looking at 60 to 70, I think, for a professional to.
It's going to be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to getting updates on all of the promotional activities around everything Route 66 related in the
Well,
coming
thank you, yes.
6 months.
And we
Thank you.
just actually published that last week. We have over 20 events that are co-branded with the Route 66 Centennial, and those will be ramping up, starting with the St. Patrick's Day Parade here coming up on March 14th. So they'll be co-branded as well.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, in case people aren't following Visit Springfield's Facebook page, you guys do a fabulous job. I mean, every week there's something in there that you can do in town, activities that are going on in the city, but it's really picking up, and I think, we get to be in the seats of some crazy fun activities.
Well, shout out to our marketing and social team. They do an amazing job, for sure.
Please do. They do a great job. But again, if people aren't already following them, please, you can, I'm not saying just staycation, but be a tourist in our own city. There are things going on, and it's fun to see.
Tourists in your hometown, absolutely. We've been talking about
Should
that
I say looking for Lincoln right now, too?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking for Lincoln, we'll go that. And as you're bringing up that, let me bring up the old-fashioned ice cream social that I believe you also
That one I
passed as
will
well.
participate in.
So that'll be a new Route 66 event. The Springfield Art Association is putting that on, and we're going to sponsor that. So I think that's going to be another new event. And so we try to combine some new events for the Route 66 Centennial, along with these destination events that are already happening that we can co-brand with. So
exciting,
Lincoln
yeah.
Presidential Half Marathon, will also, their medal will be Route 66 shout out. So it's exciting lineup. It's going to be an exciting year with the Centennial, America 250th, and the Shield Sports Park opening up.
And those that don't know, Director Dahl, the cozy dog, some people refer to it as a corn dog, was invented in Springfield, Illinois. We're the home of it.
Correct. So the Waldmeyer family, yes.
Yes,
They
so
have the
that's
original batter.
feather
And
in
I
our cap.
apologize for not saying cozy dog the first time.
Yeah.
I know, I felt the look.
Yeah, we,
No, but just, and if you could, just as we move further into the year, more updates as often as we can, just to make sure that we can also be part of promoting the things that are going on in the community.
absolutely.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we'll provide those updates.
Thank you, Director.
Thank
Yep,
you.
thanks.
Alderman Williams, do you have anything that you needed? Okay, sorry. Alderwoman Notriano.
Thank you, Mayor. Switching gears, I wanted to take a minute to celebrate the life of Dolores Showalter, who passed away on February 26 at the age of 81. Dolores lived for most of her life just outside of the city, but her work touched so many lives in Springfield as a human resource professional for 4 state agencies and a leader at Hope School. And while I never had the chance to meet her personally, I know what a constant source of joy and support she was for the Copey family, who are very dear friends to me and my husband. Dolores's work advanced the special learning needs of all people. She blazed a trail for women in government that many of us up here are walking today. And she was a beloved sister to Gail Copey and a second mother to her nieces and nephews. For me and my family, Dolores is a powerful example of how people who live love and radiate compassion can touch countless lives, even those they've never met. So with that, I would ask you to join me in honoring Dolores Showalter's memory and thanking her family for sharing her with our community. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. Any other new business to come before the council? Alderwoman Purchase, you're very quiet tonight. All right, then. Clerk, we will go to citizens who have signed up in advance to address the council.
Jim Graham.
Brought some handouts too.
We can have somebody come get those for you, and they'll give them to us, sir. Do you want to wait till we have the handouts, or do you want to start? It's up to you, Mr. Graham.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay.
No, he went to that.
Thank you, Joanne.
Still with us, Jim?
Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Hello, I'm Jim Graham from Lake Area Disposal. Just wanted to, pardon me?
Go ahead.
Wanted to talk to you guys a little bit. First off, I want to say appreciate your service to the city. Tell you a little bit about us. We're a garbage company. We're a family business. We were started in the 30s, 1932. We're coming up on 100 years here in just 6 years. We have a little over 90 employees. We pick up pretty much the entire Sangamon County area, but our largest customers are businesses and residents in the city of Springfield is our main source of work. We've been working with the city hand in hand with recycling since way back in the 90s. We've been doing the yard waste pickup for the last couple of years. It's working out, I think, good for us and for you guys. Hopefully your calls for complaints have went down considerably. What I came here to talk about was a rate increase and how long it's been, and probably most of you don't realize how long it's been for a rate increase for garbage in the city of Springfield. But the copies that I showed you, just 3 simple pages. The first one just talks about rates and how it locks in the rate for garbage here in the city of Springfield, and it can't be higher. This was about 10 years ago when this was enacted. This is right off the city's website about the rates and how they have to be that and they can't be any higher. If you go to the second page, it talks about in the middle, the city council can review the rates at any time upon the request of the refuse haulers or the city of public works in the event of cost increases such as fuel, compost, and landfill charges. All of those charges, of course, went up exponentially, but in the last 10 years, every one of you can imagine that everything has went up in the garbage business. The disposal fees, the fuel charges, everything has gone up, and we're just asking that this get addressed and reviewed. I understand this language that was written into this ordinance was done prior to you guys all being involved in the city council, but we're requesting formally that it could be reviewed and updated to allow us a simple rate increase. It also says on that second page, the city council shall review the rates and fees no less than once every 3 years, beginning July 1st of 2019. this has not happened. I don't have a good reason, and I don't know that anybody does have a good reason why this has been blown off, but we would really ask that it does get reviewed and get some consideration. And lastly, on the third page, it discusses towards the bottom, the proceeds of recycling fees. There is a city waste and recycling fee that everybody in the city pays on their CWLP bill. It clearly says that the revenue generated, the second one is to offset material processing costs. Well, we have never received any offset for processing this material. We want to do the right thing and recycle, but there is very limited money involved. We're, for example, glass. We're collecting glass in the city, and glass is worth about $6 a ton. So about 2,000 pounds of glass will get you about $6. And if you pay employees to collect that stuff, you pay employees to process it. It's dangerous. It's counterproductive. We're not saying we're not going to recycle glass, but we want to bring it up that it clearly states in the ordinance that we're to be helped with the cost, and that's not happening. On the front of that handout, I've attached my business card. If any of you guys would like to, I know we just have a limited time here, and I appreciate your time, but if anybody wants to email or text or call, I'd be glad to discuss garbage or any questions that you guys might have.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Does anybody have any questions or want to make any comments about it?
Thank you for your time, Mr. Graham.
Thanks.
Clerk?
James Johnson.
I am
Somebody.
There we go. Jesse Jackson quote. This is Black History Month as well. I don't know why we accept February to be Black History Month, the shortest month of the year, and we accept it because we let people tell us what it should be. I don't accept it no more. Every month and every day is Black History Month. Now, it was a struggle to come up here today because there's so much going on and there's so much I want to talk about in 5 minutes. So it's going to sound like I'm rambling, but I'm going to hit quite a few things in 4 minutes. Because I want to be honest and let the public know, the ones who listen and watch this meeting, which a lot of people do. I'm going back down on pressing the state police for these videotapes. Out of respect, mayor and council, for what's coming down the road. And what's coming down the road is not pretty at all. When these tapes do come out, don't say you haven't been warned. The council, corporate counsel, is going to have his hands real full. I'm going to say they are already full now. You guys just sit back and watch, and I'm still going to say we need to see the tapes. And it's interesting that the police is up here today talking, and it's going to be here next week. And I wasn't planning on coming, but I'm going to come now because I want to hear why we want to spend money on. But I could tell you personally why them vehicles are used mostly for drug bust. I've seen them in the communities. So, but I would like to hear what they have to say about how many times it's being used. So I'm going to move on from that. And I'm going to talk about what's going on about. I'm a child of God, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I want y'all to understand that my walk right now, it's about a faith walk. I am a child of God. And when I come up here and I speak, I ain't just blowing smoke. I'm talking about what I know. Now, there's some things going on in Springfield, and mayor and corporate council, I'm gonna say this, that you guys need to do the right thing. You need to do the right thing. Because when it comes out, you're gonna save yourselves a whole lot of trouble by doing the right thing. Cut your losses before they get enormous. Because what I know, I don't know how you're gonna be able to afford any vehicles. For real, for real. You're gonna get hit in the pocket. And have you drove around Springfield lately? The Hilton is closed. I went out on Toronto Road and the Bombay is closed. And I don't even know how long that's been closed. And when you have hotels closing, you have a dying city. And I'm going to spend this last minute talking about our country. Don't believe what you see on TV. This is bigger than that. Follow the money and follow behind the smoke screen. This is deeper than blacks and whites, Democrats and Republicans. We're dealing with demonic spirits. And if you don't think we're going to get hit here in America, read your Bible. Read Revelations. Read Revelations. It'll tell you about what's getting ready to happen. It's coming to our soil, which is sad. My time's up.
Clerk?
Ken Pesha.
Evening, everybody. I'll be a little nicer this week. Not much, a little bit. You know, I have to question if the militarization of the police, we're not going to unring that bell, unfortunately. The expectation for the 20th most dangerous job in the world is that they never get hurt, never get harmed, that everybody makes it out safe. They use those same standards for us. Do we get to go home safe every night? Do we get to live without fear? I think we already know the answer to that question. So I think it leads to the point I've made previously about the Massey Commission CTAs being presented here. So a couple weeks ago when I got done talking about it with you guys, I got done and I had some questions for Beal about unrelated matters to what I talked about here. And we had an interesting conversation, I thought. Because what I was told is that there's pretty deep opposition to a lot of those CTAs. Not from the council, from the SPD. They don't like the idea that there would be oversight from an independent civilians commission. They don't like the idea that we would get more involved in their work because, quote, a bunch of Facebook experts and people who can't list off a long list of court decisions and how escalation of force works on the drop of a dime, we don't have the right to critique their work. Now, I'm going to be blunt with you. I don't really like the idea that people judge themselves. I've always thought that that's a bit of a rigged game. You're very rarely going to turn yourself in for the bad things you've done, and most people do pretty well with the guilt, especially when the outcome would be public embarrassment, losing their jobs, pensions, those kind of things. So, I mean, I'll be honest. I think this idea that the police should somehow exist in this vacuum where no harm ever occurs to them, as though they're the most dangerous job out there. Look, nobody's out there shooting loggers, man. They're the #1 most dangerous job. I could go through the top 10 if you need me to. Law enforcement hasn't been in it over 20 years. So this idea that they're somehow meant to go home every night despite being in a profession that, quite honestly, they themselves have made more dangerous through decades of malfeasance, abuse, attacks, refusals to engage, 5-to-1 traffic stops. I mean, the list goes on, doesn't it? What was the point of the Massey Commission? Was it to soothe everybody's hurt feelings? Was it to slow pedal some things and tell everybody change was going to come? Or were we actually going to make real concrete changes around here? Instead, I got to hear about how technically Sonia wasn't murdered in the city of Springfield, which is a joke. That is a joke. Anyone that says that's either lying or trying to avoid the blame that should have come with it. Quite frankly, saying things like, well, my officers were out there the night before and nobody died. I mean, do I need to keep going here? These are the conversations I have with people in the administration here. These are the kind of statements that make me wonder if the CTAs are actually being taken seriously or if we're just going to glad handle them again. Because the things they're asking for are legitimate. The end of qualified immunity. The idea that the police are somehow immune to prosecution for the behavior they commit. That is absolutely atrocious. If Public Works did something that burned my house down, they'd be liable for it. But if SPD runs me over with a car, if they were on a call, guess what? That is the kind of thing that we're looking to change in this city. And the idea that the police are somehow in charge of that is wild to me. I personally don't care how they feel about it. We wouldn't be here if we didn't continually have these problems. I brought up the idea that we had a police lieutenant come over to Egan's trial as a character witness. And he told me that was personal. Personal. His professional lead, his supervisor, the one who helped train him, came to vouch for him at a trial where he ran over two people while way past the legal limit. Is that personal or is it professional? I will caution you to recognize that with the police, they often bleed into each other quite often. So this idea that they're somehow exempt from that, or that people like me are just not educated enough to judge their behavior, is the kind of thing that's going to lead to the bad outcomes we keep having over and over and over again. The CTAs are well-written, and they took well over 100 people with people I don't even think a lot of you have heard from.
Thank you, sir.
And built that report.
Clerk, who's next?
Aaron Cahill.
That I'm not under Cox's thing, man. I could have been asked if I'd have murderers here or something.
Nice ride home.
Is this gentleman coming? Is this gentleman coming?
That's for the last guy.
Oh, he's coming, okay. I don't know if you've skipped, I'm sorry.
Hey guys, so this is likely going to be my last city council, as I am actually moving down south to combat a lot of issues down there in my home state. But I would like to touch on a few things. One is the fact that we're going to spend $500,000, possibly more, on a Bearcat. You know how much the MRAPs currently run from the United States government? I don't want to see any of them on our streets, quite honestly. But the MRAPs are running about 50 grand to 100 grand right now. Yeah, those are combat proven. Those are what saved my life multiple times in combat. Do I think they have a place on the streets in any city in this state, in this country? Not really. But the police gonna be scared of anything anyway, you know? For the record, NIJ 1 through 4 is for body armor, not steel on a truck. I'm just saying. That's not what the NIJ rating is for. The NIJ rating is for body armor, not steel and glass on a truck. The fact that they're afraid of a .50 caliber round going through this truck and hitting. Ask the cops how many times they've been shot at by a .50 caliber round. Do y'all know how big a .50 caliber round is? Yeah, a rifle round is about yay big. They're also illegal in this state. The rounds are hard to get in this state, nearly impossible actually. .50 caliber ammunition, .50 caliber firearms are not something people are commonly carrying. A small .50 caliber pistol is still about this big. Like, how many .50 cals have they been shot at by? I know my truck in Afghanistan stopped several of them. I also know that my truck in Afghanistan went out, got shot, went out, got shot, went out, got shot, went out, got shot. My truck that I drove was about 10 to 15 years old and had been in combat since AM General built it. I had a Humvee that was built by AM General, put on a plane, taken to Afghanistan, had not left that country since, until, I blew it up. So for them to say, oh, it's 20 years old, it's gonna break, it's been shot a bunch, that's all smoke and mirrors, that's all bullcrap. And the reason I know is because I've dealt with it, I've done it, I've been shot at, I've been blown up. And to think that they need a vehicle that is armored underneath because of IEDs is pretty freaking laughable. Because even during the Boston Marathon bombing, not a single IED was run over. They were thrown at the truck, yes, but not a single IED was run over. So the thought that we've got all these mysterious people shooting .50 cals at our cops is pretty laughable. Another thing I want to touch on. This one's for you, little buddy. The First Amendment will live in this city. And whether y'all like it or not, bad words may hurt your feelings, but they are 100% legal in this setting. So I would caution y'all from muting anybody on YouTube or throwing anybody out for dropping a bad word when this bozo does it, I don't know, every couple of weeks. I'm deaf and I hear him say it. I need hearing aids, and I hear this bozo from the back. So I would caution y'all to be a little more careful about who y'all send letters to. Okay, buddy? All right, little buddy. Anyway, y'all have a great day.
Clerk,
Robert Collinsworth. I got his military record.
want to say it again? Clerk, you want to repeat it, please?
Robert Collinsworth. Andy Schallenberger.
Hello, don't worry, I'm not talking about landlords. And again, thank you very much for holding my old landlord accountable for that whole mess. My name's Andy Schallenberger. I'm a city bus driver here in Springfield, and I'm here tonight to offer something I believe this community needs. We have a sheriff race happening right now. This is one of the most important decisions we'll make as a community and a county. Who's responsible for our safety, who holds power, and who we trust with authority. But most of us aren't hearing from the candidates directly. We're seeing ads, we're hearing talking points, we're getting sound bites, and sound bites designed to win votes, not build trust. And I think we deserve better than that. So I'm here to offer a solution. Soul Pathways Initiative, a local nonprofit, would like to host a community accountability forum for all sheriff candidates. This would be a public event, recorded and transparent, where candidates answer real questions about leadership, accountability, and how they'll serve this community. Questions like, what's the last thing you took accountability for in your career? How do you rebuild trust with communities that feel over-policed or under-protected? What does transparency look like in practice?
These aren't gotcha questions. The questions voters need answered to make informed decisions. This form will be co-monitored by Reggie Perkins. He is a small business owner and someone with deep connections to our community. He is someone I respect dearly. I have witnessed this man's consistency in dealing with hostile and abusive situations while always maintaining respect and treating the most vulnerable members of our community with dignity and respect that they deserve. Also, myself, along with Ron Massey. Many of you know Ron. Many of you know his family story. Ron understands what's at stake when law enforcement accountability breaks down. And he is committed to making sure this community gets the leadership it deserves. This isn't about politics, it's about safety. It's about trust. It's about making sure we're choosing a sheriff based on who these candidates actually are, not just what their ads are saying. We're inviting all candidates equally, Paula Crouch, David Tim, and anyone else who's running, which on my bus I see some guy named Bell. I've looked it up, I haven't been able to find him. They're all welcome, same questions, same format, same opportunity to show this community who they are. All questions would be published in advance. Because with everything that is going on, open dialogue and communication is key right now. Because we're not rebuilding trust right now. Like the gentleman earlier said, we're just patching it and acting like it didn't exist. Kind of seems like an abusive dad that just doesn't want to bring up the abuse that happened. So I feel, and so do my friends, believe that we should have an open dialogue discussion with these candidates to know how they're going to police us and how they're going to rebuild trust, because that should be the focus, is rebuilding trust with the community. And right now, that's not happening, guys. It's not happening. It took 2.5 weeks after this last board for the last young black man, the kid, that got on my bus to stop scanning me as a threat. And I don't know if his bias is due to how he's been treated or how he is being programmed in his home setting. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. The bias is there in our community. There's racial tension, and ignoring it is just going to make it worse. So let's all be grown-ups and have a discussion. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Tom Raymond.
Good evening. My name is Tom Raymond. I'm the owner of the Cat's Pajamas Cat Cafe in Ward 2 and a resident of Ward 5. It has been several months since I stood before you to propose a creation of a dedicated downtown business liaison. I want to begin by expressing my genuine appreciation that it seems the spirit of my idea has been integrated into the city. Seeing progress recently at the Community Connections meetings for Ward 5. Seeing progress on that front reminds me why I choose to rebuild my business downtown after the 2024 fire, because this is a place where community and courage can build something extraordinary. However, the daily reality of our neighborhood tells a story that isn't always captured. I truly admire the new My Heart's Downtown initiative. We need that energy to drive people out of their homes and back through our doors. I know firsthand how fun can motivate and bring people together. But at my cafe, I have a saying, fun is a serious business, and I am very serious about fun. Today, the state of downtown remains fragile. Over the weekend, I witnessed another historic building damaged by fire just 2 doors from my business. The Virgil Hickok's house was formerly housed Norb Andes was damaged early Saturday morning. While the owners were diligently working towards finding new occupants, the empty space seems to be taken advantage of by a careless individual. Thanks to the quick response of the Springfield Fire Department, the fire was contained, but the event leaves me a little on edge. Having already recovered from one fire as a downtown business owner, this only highlights the vulnerability of our historic infrastructure. We also recently saw the closure of Golden Hour Bakehouse, marking the third recipient of the Isringhausen Drive grant to close in recent months. These businesses received significant funding and community support, yet they are no longer with us. It proves that we need more than just grand proposals. We need structural, continuous support, improved infrastructure to keep visitors coming through our doors. When visitors come downtown, we cannot rely on fun alone. We must build a city that takes the safety and dignity of all its residents serious. We are mindful of our unhoused populations, and we still feel safe in our space, but our visitors are frustrated when they see our most vulnerable neighbors unable to find the help they need. We are tired of hearing words of regret or hearing that leaders wish they helped sooner. We need to turn those words into tangible, actionable results. We shouldn't talk about how to pick up the pieces. We need to start acting while we still have something to save. At my Cat Cafe, we work hard every day to provide a sanctuary for those who need it most, not just a shelter for cats looking for homes, but for those looking for a place to escape. I am asking that we work together towards making the entirety of downtown a sanctuary for everyone, especially those who have invested so much of their lives here. I realize how daunting it could be to focus on long-term goals like attracting essential businesses or building a connected urban core that invites people to explore and interact. In the meantime, I implore everyone to support immediate health initiatives, I think one that was spoke about earlier, and that are currently being proposed. Providing low-barrier support to our most vulnerable is a crucial step in resolving the issues we face in this community. Let's strive every day to bring that fun energy into serious action required for our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Clerk.
Robert Frazier. Robert Frazier. David Perko.
Thank you.
Well, hello, my name's David Perko. I live in Springfield, 5 minutes from here. I want to thank you guys for letting me come here today. I saw the Rule Committee prohibited, cannot promote any private business venture. I did email Shark Tank about my appearing there when I called, and they called me back. After speaking to their lawyers, our company, Perko Worldwide, with an 80% complete prospectus with the New York Stock Exchange, they said I did not qualify as a business, private business anyway, and they said because my business would involve, I'm losing my place, involved because the presentation would involve my company pending IPO. It's a gray area. Not yet public traded company, however, not a private company either. I would rule above that says that I can't talk about a private business because of the Shark Tank's findings. I think that's enough. Your attorney, Katia Masters, informed me that my written proposal for a $30 million credit line to be secured by a city letter of credit was not possible due to legal issues. There has been public-private partnerships have existed for over 100 years. Typically, private money to help public projects. In this case, I hope my IPO would have offered to build an electric power system that would follow my IPO to help CWLP. However, now we seek a partnership that would be structured in reverse, whereby the city would fund the cost to buy the Wyndham Hotel, 700 East Adams Street, establishing a strong foothold. That 30-story, 165 square foot hotel is to be renovated for our company headquarters. expectation that it will take at least 3 years. Therefore, we would seek to buy the office building for sale at 501 East Capitol Street. Their office is all set up and ready now. It is common practice also to pay interest for the credit line with the credit line until our company can create sales. We will sell shares with Merrill after our stock symbol is issued within 3 or 4 months. If this credit line established, I hope, we can forecast to sell at $200 a share to gross $200 million to retire the debt on the credit line, now to be established and attached to our company bank account at Bank of America. Well, I better hurry up. Then we seek to increase this credit line with cash and on hand to $100 million for shipbuilding. Credit line is an asset, will add value to our stock today. We go public within 6 months. The $30 million credit line established, amended though, I do seek $35 million vice 30. The vacant land has a small business protruding. I would like to for security and ethics reasons, I would like to buy that small business, see if it can be incorporated for our future construction. I do not believe my home will be there. I was there last Sunday. There's a divided highway along running the property. I'll probably look for another place. I do have questions. How does the city arrange a $35 million credit line for Perco Worldwide that would pass legal muster with your corporate counsel? What is the timeline to establish such a credit line? Do you have any questions for me? And could a vote take place on this today or sometime in the future? That's the end of what I have to say. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, sir. I don't think so. Thank you very much
Okay.
for your time.
I hope you guys can get back to me on this.
All right, motion?
Motion adjourned. So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjournment say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.